Here with Eira, Shay from Canada, here on the Gold Coast. Welcome to the Out of Studio podcast episode 6.
It's so lovely to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
How fun. So behind us we have your latest exhibition,
Yes.
Finding the Light.
Catching the Light.
Catching the Light, and you had that in a group show.
I had
Right.
one solo exhibition and we are currently in our group residency show.
Okay, and tell us about Catching the Light. What's the story behind?
Catching the Light is a series of photographs that I was playing with when I was home in Canada.
Okay.
And it's a new exploration of this idea of shadow casting. As you can see in the paintings, the shadows cast on the form are from a collection of debris that I found in the forest, and then I was using it to cast intricate designs over my model.
So these are that's the shadow cast over her there.
Yeah, and I think as a metaphor, I really enjoy this idea of light and dark, and shadow in life, and light in life. I wrote a little story to go with the exhibition, but the gist of it is that you can't have light without the dark, and the dark gives beauty.
Yeah, kind of the balance of the yin and yang,
Yeah.
so to speak. Wow, and how long have you been working on this
It's been
series
a year.
for? 1 year.
1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. 1 year of exploration.
Wow, and have you learned anything new from it? Any key takeaways?
It's taught me so many things. I think playing with shadows, I was able to elevate my practice in realism, in portraiture in particular.
Yeah.
It brought me a whole new avenue of techniques. I've started playing with carving in these paintings too, so the carving is a new element that I hadn't explored before.
Right, and how do you get good at doing this? Are you like YouTube tutorialing, or you just trial and error?
Just trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was actually, the carving happened at a Earth Frequency Festival,
Okay.
and I was partying a little bit, and my friend had brought carving tools, and we were like, okay, we're gonna play with these and figure out
Experimenting with carving tools.
experimenting.
Okay.
So I just kind of went for it, and I started in the middle of a larger portal painting that I don't have here, but I just started carving, and my friends were coming up and they were like worried. They're like, oh, did you sketch first? Did you did you take a photograph? Like, what if you don't like it? But I think sometimes the best decisions you make are just on a whim, and you just have to commit to it.
Yeah, I love that. I agree, especially with like the creative side of the brain, right? You want to be in tune.
I think in tune is a great way of saying it. It's you like a funnel in that moment, and if you have an idea, it's your responsibility to follow through.
100%. And so the carving, it's like a very fine kind of carving.
Yeah.
Right. So is that you've got the paint and then you carve afterwards?
So this one here, this is etching.
Yeah.
So I use a palette knife. So I do a layer of charcoal drawing,
Yeah.
and then I scratch into that before I put the oil paint down.
Okay.
But this one here, all the grass has been carved out. So that really warm color is the wood.
So you get the warmth of the wood back from the darkness of the charcoal.
Yeah.
Love that.
And that one in the corner, that was the first one that I carved, and I wanted to put the leaves of the trees back in because I felt like I put too much paint down, and I wanted to bring back the integrity of the wood.
Yeah.
So that was where it all began.
And you like to use like a lighter wood? You use kind of the same wood every time, or do you experiment changing that too?
I experiment. It depends what I'm going for. But when I was home in Canada, I was painting on cherry, and I loved that.
What kind of color was that? Timber.
This is painted Australian hardwood, so it'd be the cross between an Australian hardwood and a pine.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice, warm, reddy color, and it has beautiful grain. The grain is what I absolutely love.
The grain, and like obviously timber's living. It's like
timber is living.
So that is a cool element about timber. I love that with our frames.
Yeah.
And like I mean canvas is natural, but it's not like living as much as wood.
Oh.
It feels like wood lives more.
wood definitely lives more. And it's not as daunting sometimes because you're working on a surface that, yeah, it's living. It has its existence is right there for you to kind of mold and work with.
Yeah, and so you always painted on timber?
Yeah, always. The root of my art has always been drawing. Drawing's definitely the most comfortable, I feel.
Started in drawing?
Yeah. So working on timber allows me to draw first and then work my way into painting.
I see.
And it's become kind of my signature style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Signature style, great term. I know that in the art world, that is what it's all about, pretty much, developing your signature style, so that I could come and be like, oh, here are Shay's pieces, without even reading the sign. You know, I should be able to like kind of tell from your body of work. So how do you go about doing this whole signature style thing?
You make decisions and you commit to them and you follow through. You're only going to find that through your mistakes and through exploration. I'm self-taught, so everything I've learned has come through exploration. What if you did this or tried? And other artists too, finding your inspiration in older works or masterpieces.
Like, how much has your style changed over the years, would you say?
It's changed a lot, but I've been working with charcoal and oils on wood for 7 or 8 years now.
Okay.
So I think as an exploration, my work has become a lot finer and there's a lot more detail. But my subject matter has always stayed pretty consistent. I love figurative paintings, lots of female bodies.
Yeah, so you got like a lot of growth, but you got like your subject matter is kind of stayed the same. So like, it's kind of still the same kind of, like if you went back, it follows like the same.
It does follow the same storyline.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And so you're fully self-taught. You didn't have like your parents were an artist or nothing like that.
I had a few artists in my family, but they didn't teach me per se. Yeah, it's just been my own exploration. I've been focused on growing this as a professional practice over the last maybe 4 or 5 years.
Nice. 4 or 5 years, long time. You must be getting pretty good.
Well, I think, so 4 or 5 years is this style of painting, and then 3 years of actually trying to run it as a business. If that makes sense.
Yeah, which is such a tough part. We know the business element of it.
Yeah. There's being an artist, and then there's also running a creative business.
Oh, I know, right?
Those are two very different things in my world.
Yeah, they're like it's the duality of it all, right?
But I love it because I think in the same way that there's this magic with creativity where you can create beautiful works of art and you follow an idea and you bring something in your heart or in your head to life. There's a beauty of creative business where sometimes you meet the right people at the right time. And you go, it's this little adventure of how do I develop my practice to be sustaining so that I can continue to create this work.
Yeah, and like it's kind of just connecting the dots, the business part, because I feel like there's a collector out there for every piece.
Yeah.
I'm so sure of that. Every time you take people through a show, they always have a different favorite.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's just finding that person who like loves it the most. That's like the whole challenge of the business aspect, right?
Yeah, for sure.
With your collectors, do you know many of them? Do they follow you on Instagram? Like, do you have kind of an idea about who your collectors are? You know
what's so interesting is I have not found my collector basis through Instagram.
Okay.
It's been random. I do a lot of events and festivals, so I think when people come and see the work in person, it's so much more detailed and profound, and there's so much more depth in person that I think some of that gets lost on a phone because they're complicated pieces.
But then like, do you have like a mailing list, or like how do you stay in contact with these kind of people?
I am good friends with them. I make a point of becoming friends
So like you got the exchange numbers or
Exchange numbers,
emails
drop
and
paintings off in person. If I am shipping work, I do my best to stay in touch.
yeah.
It's all I'm so small right now that it's a very close network of
Oh, I love
people.
that. I love that.
But mailing list is definitely the next thing for sure.
Yeah, just kind of keep everyone in the loop.
Right now I've
Okay.
got this complicated system of if I communicate with people through phone or through email, or I just go on whatever avenue makes sense for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like a multifaceted approach.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I guess Instagram's so easy. I always think of that one because like it's just like follow and then you're following along the journey.
Yeah, it is easy, but then also a lot of the time people miss you. I think.
It's not as personal. Maybe it's like a phone call or something.
Or they don't see if you're having an event. If I have events, I do invitations.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, nice classy invitation.
Yeah.
And any events coming up? I guess you're just winding this one down.
Yeah, I'm winding down my individual shows, but I am going to be having some work come to Byron and be set up in a gallery there.
Nice. And any advice to maybe artists out there who haven't done a show yet, but they're feeling like that's the next step, maybe?
Yeah.
Any tips, would you say?
I actually went to a friend's art exhibition maybe 4 years ago, before I had decided that I wanted to be a working artist.
Mm-hmm.
And she did an incredible job. She set up she hung all her own art.
Mm-hmm.
She hired the space.
Wow.
And had photographers, had amazing food, had a DJ, and I just saw you can really just hold your own show.
Dude,
you don't
you
need
But it's like still daunting in a way.
It is daunting, but I would just recommend to do it. Find the space that works for you.
Find the space.
And you can get a drink sponsor.
Yeah.
You can hire a DJ and then invite people that have been inspired by your work.
Yeah.
You can meet people at events. Doing markets or festivals are a great avenue to be able to meet new people and then connect with those people, stay close.
Yeah.
And
so connect with the people, stay close, and just go out there and do it, I guess, right?
Yeah, just go out. I would definitely recommend to go out and do it. I think it takes a little while sometimes to get recognized by galleries, but if you can hold and throw your own event, and you can do really well and meet amazing collectors that will come back and continue to support you.
Yeah, and even if you don't get a whole lot of sales, you probably still like learning so much, you're meeting people, and you get great content too for like your website or your social media.
Yeah, and you can bring that into the online space, which is.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I'm an in-person person, and I think that creating spaces where people can come and meet you and be surrounded by your work is so powerful.
Yeah. Another question I'd love to ask is like, how do you deal with feedback? Like positive, negative feedback. Yeah. How do you deal with that?
I think that feedback it's key to being able to progress as an artist.
Yeah.
And no one is ever going to be as critical as I am on myself.
Okay.
I definitely push myself really hard when it comes to my practice.
Yeah.
But I think that feedback is key. Get as many different opinions as what you can.
Okay.
And then also stay true to where you imagine you want to go.
Yeah.
But I think that it's so valuable having people to come and critique your work or inspire you on how to run a better business. There's so much information out there. I'm always asking questions.
Yeah. I think that's what art is. The cool thing about art is it brings people together. So you can kind of use that to like converse more with people, and
definitely,
which is awesome. You could host your own podcast at your show.
Yeah, you can
which
meet
is
people that host podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. And so you've been painting for like 5 years now?
No, I've been painting forever.
Painting forever.
I've been painting forever. I just I've been running a creative business for feels like early days. I feel like you're always learning the business aspect, but I've been painting for a long time.
Yes. And where have you found success in the business side?
I have a handful of collectors who continue to support me,
Nice.
and I've only grown and developed that relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that developing a creative practice is throwing everything you have out in the air, and then you just see what opportunities bounce back.
Yes.
And then it's your smoothness and capacity to jump on the opportunity and move into the next space.
Yeah. And what about other creative outlets? Like I see that you've got poetry here.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you kind of mix the poetry in with your visual arts?
I love to write poems with the paintings.
Yeah.
I'm not traditional in my artist statements. You're supposed to have, sometimes I find out.
What is a traditional artist statement? What are we talking about there?
I guess.
Is it like the caption?
Yeah, the caption.
Yeah.
That you would write for a body of work, maybe,
Yeah.
or for a particular piece.
Mm-hmm.
They say you're not supposed to write poems, but I like poetry. I like poetry because it's less information, and I watched this really beautiful, I think it was a podcast actually.
Yeah.
There's this artist talking about how painting can be so impactful because it's less information for your eyes. So a photograph is a lot of information to take in. Painting is a photograph stripped back, if you're talking about traditional.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense to me for
yeah.
sure.
So a poem it's the essence of what has been written, stripped
Yeah.
back.
Yes. Wow, that's an interesting take. I love that. Yeah, because the painting is like that. It's a little bit stripped back from like a high resolution image, and it like focuses on like different parts of it, right?
Yeah, you have the capacity to take the eye on a different adventure based off of how much detail you apply to different areas.
Yeah.
And that's why I find poems can be really profound, because it allows your mind to fill in the blanks or apply your own personal experience to what is down in front of you.
It's very unique poetry, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever you write is probably very unique to you.
Yes.
Which I love. Where do you go when you feel like you need inspiration?
Outside, it's always nature.
Nature?
Yeah. And I'm obsessed with light, so I'm always watching the way light falls. Always.
I see, so different times of the day.
Different times of the day.
Different kind of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
You prefer like the dawn or the dusk or midday light?
Ooh, my favorite light, my absolute favorite light, is when it's been stormy and you have that heavy cloud cover.
Yeah.
And then you get low-lying sun and you get to see all the rays as they come in.
Yeah. Is that how you, I know what you mean when you see the rays come down.
Yeah.
It's like a low-lying sun.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it would have to be, or like late afternoon, golden hour. Something.
Yeah, everybody loves golden hour.
Yeah, everyone loves golden hour.
Everything looks so good with golden hour.
It does.
I've been noticing actually just wearing different pair of sunglasses that I picked up, how just like looking things, like the light's different.
Right?
With the lens.
Yeah.
It just makes everything, I really like this new lens that I've got. And you're like, you take it off, you're like, whoa, everyone's looking at that. It's so nice.
It's a different experience for sure.
So do you experiment with like tones? Are there like sepia tones or tonal lighting, or more just like
Just natural.
natural light?
Yeah, I love natural light.
Yeah.
Even when I do my photo sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I do the photo sessions, it's all natural light.
Nice. And you paint in natural light as well?
Yeah, I do my best to paint in natural light. It depends what type of studio space I've got going on. But I love how different light affects the paintings. I think that they become a living experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like would you paint at nighttime with the lights on or not?
Yeah, I mean, if you need to.
If you need to.
You need to, but the best would be watching how natural light comes and affects and integrates with painting, because it changes everything.
Yeah, of course it does. And then even like the lighting of how you present it, like changes a lot. Yeah, like I love these little like lights. Like if you could have those in your home, like shining the light on the painting, isn't that great?
Yeah.
And use a bit of like effervescent. You were telling me about what's
Iridescent. It's an iridescent pigment
Iridescent pigment.
So, I mean, paint is made from mostly pigment, and then it has binding agents.
Yeah.
So this iridescent pigment is just, it's like a powder, and then I put it on, I mix it with just like linseed oil or linseed oil and thinner, or sometimes just put it straight onto the wood and then seal it on after.
Nice. And do you plan on experimenting with any new mediums going forward?
I'm really curious to try a little bit of wood burning.
Wood burning.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
I was actually talking about being inspired by other artists. I walked around Swell
Mhm.
Festival the other day, and there was an artist. He had burnt a bunch of sculptures. It was all like heavy, thick charcoal,
Yeah.
which I love, but it had a really neat texture from just being exposed to fire. So I think that's the next
Wood and
thing I want to play
fire.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about sculpture? Would you ever go down that lane?
I'd be curious too. Well, I think it's funny that we can get so obsessed with 2D.
Yeah, I love sculpture. Sculpture is awesome.
Yeah.
But obviously it comes with its challenges.
It definitely comes with its challenges. I think it could be cool though. I'm really interested in bent wood as well.
Yeah. Yeah, like natural kind of do you mean like a one you would
Using
just find out in nature, or you mean like bending it?
you bend it. Well, yeah, you could do. I would like to do wooden sculptures. I think if I was gonna play, it's
Yeah.
my
That would be
medium of
cool.
choice always.
Yeah, you know you've got a cool collector when they've got sculptures in their house.
100%.
That's
right?
like next level stuff.
It is next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love the way they can interact with light too and shadow.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love James Turrell. He's like an artist who is very into light.
Yeah.
And he'll do like installations. Light is so cool. Yeah, I'd love to learn more about light and ambient lighting in the house and things like that. More
Mhm.
lamps, right?
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
trying to get more into lamps than just like your overhead lights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all
wow.
about mood. It is. That ambience is an art for sure.
Yeah, setting the mood. What kind of mood would you say do these provoke?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, I think it's dark fantasy.
Dark fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Is
get
that
that
a mood?
vibe for
Can
sure.
that
I
be a
think
mood?
so. Yeah. Yeah, that can be a mood.
Yeah, I love dark fantasy.
And so next pieces we're gonna do more dark fantasy.
The next, I think I have this in my head. I've been planning where I want to go, and I'm thinking large works.
Large. How big? Like
Like
1.5
over 2
meters.
meters?
Over 2 meters.
Yeah.
Really big.
I would really like to do very large scale paintings.
But how do you move them though?
Right.
Yeah, like you need like a furniture moving company, I guess.
You can get a service. If I have a gallery that is willing to be able to take large paintings from me, then it's kind of their problem.
Yes.
But the gallery in Byron is a large works gallery.
So they can
and
handle it.
They can handle it. And when I went in there and I took my paintings, which I love my paintings a lot, but to see them beside works that were more than double their size, I was like, I see the impact of being able to stand in front of something and feel like you're in it.
Yeah, it's like when you go to an art museum, you know,
Yeah.
they've got the huge pieces.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I love the scale of the big ones.
same. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a while, but it is because they don't roll; they're flat. They're flat panels.
Yeah.
But I would love to do aerials using the drone, and then play around with. I really love different reflections in water.
Mm-hmm.
So do
Same.
figures in fabric in water, swimming with different reflections, different times of the day. That's the next idea.
And for the big ones, would you do them more as like a commission, or would you just go for it?
I probably would just go for it as long as I have someone who's able to help me
Move it around.
Move them.
That is so cool. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
The big pieces.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the Artist Out of Studio podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for
Thanks.
having me.
Yes, so cool to chat, and all the best on your art journey.
Thank you.